Guys. So we're going to do something really fun today. You're going to need a couple of things to do it. We're going to be working on our doodling skills. And doodling is a lot of fun because it lets you just let your imagination run wild. You'll notice that you got a coloring page that has doodling, but I wanted to show you how you could do your own fun character doodles. So really for this project, you're going to need some paper. You're going to need a couple of pencils, and I have a nice pen here. But you can use any black pen that you can find around. These come in a lot of different things. You could use a Sharpie, just what you have. I do like this type of pen, and you can see it's just fresh for you. But let's just get doodling, okay? Because this is our creative time. And even if you don't have a pen, you can do this with just a pencil. But this is something that will get you through moments when you're bored, get you through moments when you're maybe frustrated. You can really express yourself even more. And I'm going to start by a basic doodle shape. I'm going to come here a little bit up from the bottom, and I'm going to use my pencil first, and I'm going to make a little line. It kind of looks like a thumb, doesn't it? And it curves in a little bit and it rounds out. That's a basic doodle guy. And I'm going to put some doodle face on him. I'm going to make a little squish circle. Sometimes we call those an ellipse. It's not that big. And I'm going to make a bigger squish circle next to it. It's also an ellipse. And those are going to be the eyes of our doodle guy. Now we have to decide, is our doodle guy happy? Is our doodle guy sad? What kind of space or thought or process is our doodle guy in? And I'm going to say, since we're drawing today, it's happy. Now, I don't want to make regular little faces, so I'm going to do a little downward V, and that's going to be the beginning of a nose. I'm going to come down a bit, and I'm going to curl it up, and this will kind of maybe remind you of a bunny or a cat or a bear. I'm going to give it a little tongue, which I think the tongue will look best if we start right here and bring it out there. See how it's kind of like off center? And then I'm going to come down the center of the tongue with the tongue line. Now, there are many kinds of things that you can do around your doodle to give personality. Let's just start with a basic C-shape ear. So I'm going to make a letter C here. And I'm going to come over to the other side and make a letter C here. And then I may come just inside that and make a parallel line. That's a line that runs along the same trajectory right next to another line. And it doesn't come together or go apart. It's following the same path. But this one is on the inside. Okay. And then we're going to do, maybe this little character has a crown. So I'm going to make a little line right here and a little line right here. That's going to be the shape of that crown. I'm going to come out and make a little kind of triangle in, come out and make another matching little triangle in. And then I'll go ahead and come up. You can kind of see that that's a crown. And let's put like a cutie mark in that crown by adding a heart. That is our first doodle guy. Now, in a doodle, the next thing I would want to do is add another type of shape or character or event. So it's often fun to build them off of each other. And so in this particular case, I'm going to make kind of a sad one. And to do that, I'm going to use something we use in art called gesture. And I'm going to bend a line and join this in. So see how it's a little bit bent? It's a little bit hunched over. That's why it's the gesture. Ooh, this is one of my favorite things. This is a kneading eraser. It doesn't leave any crumbles on your paper, but it still cleans up your graphite. You can use the eraser that you have. I try not to erase very much when I'm drawing because it damages the paper and it stops me from thinking creatively. So I only erase little things like if I want to clean up a line, but I don't erase a whole idea. And I want to encourage you not to. Now let's make this one sort of a sad doodle. Now, the position of the eyes can really impact our characters, so I'm going to put these eyes down low. And they're going to be about the same size this time. So see how already he's a little bit sadder? It's a little bit more melancholy. And I'm going to make a small downward turned mouth. Oh, he's so sad. He's missing friends. And I think I want ears, but I want to, again, make the ears feel like the character. So I'm going to come forward and drop those forward. See how that is the same as this drop and also makes it feel sad? Now, a fun thing is if I come up here and add another little sad ear, look at that. Still pretty sad. So this would be one of the weird times that I might erase, where I want to remove just that line. I don't want to change my whole idea. I'm not trying to be perfect. That's not really something you want to be in art, is perfect or do it perfectly. And you can't really make mistakes, but you can really stress yourself out. Now, to balance out our doodle, we need other designs and other characters and things. So another good place would be, we could add a character here and we can add a character here. Now, I'm going to bend something the opposite way, and I'm going to make it a little bit of a different shape than its friends. This one is going to be a long and skinny shape. Could be a tail, but I don't really want it to be a tail. I want it to be another character. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a face. Now, when you're thinking of what kind of face you can make, sometimes you can use emojis to help you think of a way that you can make a face. So I'm going to make that little squished face emoji. And I'm going to give him a big, big mouth so he can sing some notes, right? That's pretty fun. And I think I'd like to make some sort of crazy little hair shape. So I'm going to come here and make like an S curve. And I'm going to make a line that joins that S curve and another line that joins that S curve. I'll come right here and add an S curve line. These are lines that we curve and that remind us of the letter S. Remind us of those things. I'm going to bring this down. Now, he reminds me of those little dancing characters that are sometimes out of gas stations and things. So I'm going to kind of think about that. And I'm going to show you how to make a cool perspective kind of line. I'm going to come up here and make a curved line. I'm going to come right here and make another line that curves but's parallel. Then we're going to come right here. We're going to make a line across. Why are we going to do that? Because you're going to come back like this and come forward. So the two lines here to this line. Now, to make this line look like it's a wiggled bent arm, watch this. I'm going to bring another line right there. And just on the inside of this, because it wouldn't change width, I'm bringing another line. Now you have an arm that looks like it's waving in the wind. And I'm going to give it like kind of a hand sort of shape. Isn't that crazy? This side should have the same thing, but maybe its position will be different. So we'll come out maybe a little bit wider. Make our line. And then what do? We could bend back this way or this way. I think inside would look best. So I'm going to go like that. I'm going to make that line join there, which is going to make it look like it's folded. That's a type of perspective that we're doing. I'll go ahead and add some fingers. Oh, that's crazy doodle. Now, sometimes it's fun to use things that are recognizable, like food or pets or houses, just objects that we recognize. And in this particular case, I'm thinking an ice cream cone shape could be very nice. So I'm going to make a cone that joins right into this. I think, though, I'm going to not want to have my cone be solid. So I'm going to erase a little point of line so I can bring a line down. And then I'm going to make an ice cream cone shape with a drip. So our next character would be kind of like an ice cream cone, but I think for it to be really fun, we need to have a cherry style hat. See how we made a little cherry style? And a little stem. So that's pretty good. Now, anybody that's an ice cream cone ought to be a pretty happy character. So I'm going to make big eyes, wide set apart. We're going to come up in the middle. That's pretty happy, isn't it? That's a very happy character. So now that we have this many, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do what's called inking. If you've ever seen a comic book, there are several jobs in making a comic book. And one of those jobs is inking, and another job is coloring. And then there's a person who writes it and draws it. So they're not always necessarily the same person. Sometimes it's teams of people that will work on that job. I'm going to come here using carefully drawing over all my pencil lines. Carefully drawing over all my pencil lines. Using this. Right, coming right here. There we are. Now, let's bring our ice cream. Drips down. At this stage, there's an opportunity to make more interesting drips. So I'm going to add 2 drops. Now, a trick that you can do is if you curve the drop to the left one time and curve the drop to the right the other time. Just go over all these lines with your pen. Try not to press really hard if you're using a good pen because it ruins the tip. And I also like to draw from the left to the right so I don't drag ink across. If you're left-handed, consider drawing it or inking it from the right to the left so you don't drink ink across. Remember to always work to your strengths and your best side. There isn't a right or wrong way to do this. You've just got to figure out the right way for you. Come right here. I'm going to make a little tongue. I'm going to come here and make another little ear. And down we go. So it's a lot quicker to ink it than it is to design it. Now this guy is super funny. He's super funny. I want to do a good job inking him. I think he's my favorite of the characters that I drew today. Go right here. We're just having a good time being imaginative. There we go. So I really want to see how you draw your doodle. You can draw along and draw this exact doodle with me. But I hope you'll also try to come up with your own doodle and your own ideas. Just coming along here. All right. There we go. Like his hair is all in. All right. We're still going. We're doing so good. Now that you've seen how we fold ribbons, it's probably helping with some other ideas that you've had. Not just his ribbon arms that we're doing. Let's do our sad character now. You know, it's great to feel happy, but sometimes it's also important to feel sad. There's all kinds of ways to feel. And art's a great way that you can talk about all those feelings. Well, that's a lot of fun. Now, the next thing that I can do. Oh, wait, I almost forgot my mouth. I'm so glad you told me. All right, there we go. I'm going to put my pen to the side and I'm going to get my big box of crayons. And I'm going to pick some of my favorite colors and I'm going to color in my doodle. And I'm going to try to pick colors that I think remind me of the characters. You'll notice that I peeled my crayons. I like to peel my crayons because that makes them easier to sharpen and color with, but they do break more often when you peel them. It's a decision that you have to make. Notice that I can do lots of different ways of coloring. But my big thing that I'm trying to do is color with an even pressure. Crayons are pretty serious business. Sometimes we think of them as a kid's art material. I'm going to put this aside. That's a cool color. We'll talk about all the colors we used at the end. All right, I think I'm going to get a darker color. This is kind of like a dark purple. And I'm going to color a little bit up into the purple I've already made. And that's going to blend it. You see how that's blending it? I'm going to color all around here. And I'm going to make a blend of all these colors. Look at that go. That's a pretty cool blend. Oh, I like that. Maybe a blue at the bottom. This has some sparkles in it. And I really like that. So let's blend that blue. Can you see how if I color up into the color I already have, it creates a transition. I'm trying to make it where it doesn't have a hard edge, but that it's going through different colors, colors that I like. Now, sometimes the crayons with glitter are a little harder to color with because the glitter, you have to use a different kind of wax and medium. I'm going to come back with that first purple. And I'm going to make sure we have a nice blend. There we go. So he's got this nice transition. So that was this, and then this, and this. That's pretty cool. I think I'll go ahead and do my ears in the first color. And we can decide what kind of interior color we want to do. I guess I'll do my darker purple. That's a pretty good color. And this one is very soft. I like it when the crayon is soft. That's good. I think we need a pink for the tongue, though. This is a good pink. Oh, I like that. Now, gold is actually kind of dark yellow color, but because we have crayons, we actually have a gold crayon, so I've decided to use my gold crayon. I have decided to use my gold crayon. And I'm going to come here and use my red crayon. This is like a deep wine red. So far on him, I've used all these colors. Right? Now I can leave the eyes like this, or I can color them in with my black pen, or I can color them in with a crayon. I'm going to leave them white like this. And maybe I'm going to think about my ice cream cone over here. For sure, I'm going to get this red. This is a very good red. And I'm going to use it to color the cherry. I'm not pressing very hard on the first color. And then each time I come back and color, I'm going to press a little bit harder. And that's going to keep coloring and making it darker and darker. What? See how you can shade with crayons? You can actually shade really well with crayons. I think he should be an orange ice cream. And I'm going to do something similar. I'm going to color real light. And then I'll shade it by using both pressure and darker colors. I can do a lot. If I press too hard, I wouldn't have any room to shade. And I definitely want to do shading. Shading is where we use light or dark to give something shape or form. And it's something you can do even when you're young. You don't have to be a grown-up to do shading. I'm going to come here and color real dark. See how we're coloring real dark around the edge? And I'm picking that because that wouldn't have as much sunlight on it. And I'm going to come here and shade one side of my drop. And then I'll go ahead and shade between this body and this body. And I'll go ahead and shade this side. Look at that. So we've got this and this now for this one. And I've got to give him an ice cream cone. And I think I'll just use a kind of a brown for that. See how light this is? It's just a very light brown. It really wouldn't give me shading even if I pressed harder. So if I want to do shading, I'll have to get a darker color and come back. Sometimes people are not serious enough about their crayons. And they don't pay attention to all the different ways their crayons color. But as artists, we do. Now on this one, I do want to add another pupil. So I'm going to come right in the middle. Got some crayon that fell off on me. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. And if I come underneath, I can make those eyes seem a little more deep set. And that, I kind of like that. And let's maybe make the stem green. Now, Sad Bunny, I think should be colors that make us kind of think of sadness. So I'm going to start with a blue. Because sometimes color tells us how we feel, right? We can use color to express how we feel. And I'm not going to color the face though. I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to show you a neat thing that you can do. Right? We're going to take a nice pink color. This is a very good one. I'm going to color Sad Doodle's face a little pink, like he's blushing. And once I see that, I think, oh, I'm going to do the tips of the ears maybe with a little bit of that color. Like maybe they're a little blushed too. Look at that. We can color the tips of those ears, and that's really good coloring. I'll put that aside, this aside, because we'll talk about all the colors that we used at the end. And I think I'll get this. This is sort of a dark blue color, but it has a bit of a green to it. I mean, it's like you say green, you go, why do you say green? Because the blue is what we call in art warm. It leans towards a kind of almost yellow hue to it. And that means it would make really nice greens if you were mixing it with other yellows. Turquoise is like that. And I'm just making sure our blue bunny is blue. Oh, that's wonderful. So those are these two. Now, our happy, 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 singing, excited guy, ribbed guy, I think should be like a rainbow. And I am going to start it with red up top. What's the next color in a rainbow? While I'm coloring, can you think of that? I'm going to make the hands match what I'm doing. So if our first color in a rainbow is red, what's the next color? Well, the next color would be orange. Look at that. So we'll just make the next color kind of orange. And we're going to blend it. And him being a rainbow is going to make him very exciting. And that will really go with him. I guess I'll give him a darker kind of orange stripe. Maybe right here. And maybe a red stripe right there. That seems good. Now the next color I might use is yellow. They really change all the yellows in the crayons a lot. They took away one of my very favorite colors when they changed them. I don't know if you know that they change the crayon colors every once in a while, but they do. I'll use yellow right here. And then next to that yellow would be kind of like a green. I'll show you a trick on how to make it look like that's a folded piece. See how that's a very bright green? It has a lot of yellow in it. And here's why that's going to be cool. I'm going to take this darker green. I'm going to color right here. And doesn't that make it look like it's a shadow? And I'll just blend this just a bit. Just a bit. Isn't that good? Just a bit. All right. Then I'm going to get my blue. I'm going to get my blue and I'm going to come down. Add that. That's where the arms finish up. Let's get some of this green again. We're going to blend that a bit too. That's good. Maybe add a little blue to the hair. Be a little green. Green is good. That's pretty good. We're almost done, guys. Then the next color here has got to be blue, doesn't it? Got to be blue. And then the final color, whenever you're doing a rainbow, is a purple. I think this is a purple. Yep, this is a purple. So I'm going to color that purple. This is a nice dark purple. And it'll look different than the purple it's next to. And I think because I have two open spots, I'll go ahead and do this purple here. And then finish the last one with the yellow that I used. The yellow I used go. All right. So here we are. We've just colored this doodle. Here's all the crayons that we used. A yellow and a light green, a darker green. We had a lot of blues. All the different blues. We had this sparkle blue and this turquoise blue and a deep, this was our deep purple, I think. But we had this light blue and this kind of midnight blue. Here's a dark purple and another purple. So these were the two purples that we used. Got an orange here. Two kinds of pink, right? That's kind of a bright pink and that's kind of a cool pink. Now we've got a dark red and another kind of reddish pink, but here's like a red that almost looks like a brick. A lighter brown, a darker brown. In gold, we used a pen, a gummy eraser, and a pencil. So those were the tools that we used today. You know what the next most important thing we've got to do is? We've got to clean up. We got to clean up our mess. So I'm going to put all of my crayons away. I like to organize my crayons by color. So I'm going to put them back with their colors. So I want to be able to find everything next time really easily. And so I don't want to mix it up too much. And that's my trick for that. Sometimes in art we call that a strategy. That can help clean up. I might put some of that down there. You can kind of lift these and shake them to get them to go back in. I always like to clean up. Remember, whenever you're being creative, if you clean up after, then people don't object as much when you want to make a mess. That's why I like to do that, because I don't want my family to object when I want to make a mess. Because some messes are fun to make, like creative messes. There we go. All these colors together. I might be able to move this purple over here. That's a better spot for it. Anyways. Sometimes the crayons get a little bit tight and they don't necessarily all squeeze in the way you want. There we go. We're all put away. Put my eraser back in its spot and my pencil back in its spot and my pen. Now what I get to do, my last part of this is I'm going to sign my name. You should always sign your name. I'm going to use my pencil. You sign your name, and I can't wait to see your doodle in group. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it.